Hello and welcome to the part 4 of this video series. So up till now we have done the EC2, launch templates, user data, ALB, and one thing is that I wanted to mention is that you guys can go and check out the series other videos, the previous ones, part 0, 1, 2, 3, and they are being uploaded and you can watch them on YouTube. If you haven't seen the previous videos, you can browse through the previous videos. And I probably put every video's links in every video. So all these links are interconnected in the video description of each video. So if you are watching this video, that means that I have also mentioned the links to the previous videos in this video's description. So let's continue and we move on to the next parts of our architecture. So up till now, our ALB, listener, EC2, and launch template along with the AMI are already done. Now today we will go towards the auto scaling group. What auto scaling group is and how can we create one and what is the purpose we will discuss in this video. So let's go to our uh, AWS dashboard. Here is the load balancer that we have created. Here is the link that I mentioned in the previous video. The target group is here that we have created. We can see that in the target groups. I have discussed every detail in the previous video, what the ports are and how do we create a target group. Then we have the, let's close the security groups, and we have the AMI, how we create the AMI and uh, how to configure the launch template. And the launch templates are here, and the launch template has many details which I discussed in the previous video. Today we will go towards auto scaling group. So basically auto scaling groups or auto scaling group is for the purpose that we want to scale our hardware. For example, there is a load on the server that we are passing the traffic to. Auto scaling group knows about that server, and auto scaling group knows about the load balancer, that there is traffic coming on the load balancer, and then that load balancer has the target group. So as I mentioned, in the load balancer we have the target group here attached, and the target group in terms of EC2 already have targets here which we previously connected, and I told you in that video that this will change to healthy when it detects that the traffic is passing correctly to the EC2. So the target group has EC2, and that target group is linked towards in the load balancer, and this load balancer will now be a part of the auto scaling group. So auto scaling group will sense everything, and once there is traffic going on to the load balancer and that traffic is passing to the target group, and that target group has the EC2 in healthy state, nothing will happen. The auto scaling group will do nothing. But once this status is not healthy, or this is in draining stage, or this is in shutting down stage, uh, this auto scaling group will trigger, and it will launch more EC2 instances, and it will then register those EC2 instances to the target group here, and then this target group will increase those instances here on the auto, and then the traffic coming through the load balancer, which is here, will will be redirected or splitted to different EC2s, and that's how the traffic will be balanced on these EC2s. So let's create the auto scaling group, and then you will understand in between. I just wanted to give you an overview how the auto scaling group works. Let's create auto scaling group. We will name it, and as default we will use the naming convention as we have given previously in the previous videos, AWS Devops project, and we will use the last name and the last not the last but the first letter of every word of auto scaling group, ASG, so that we remember the names. right? So this is the name. Then it says give me a launch template, and this was the purpose that I created the launch template, if you remember this one, because I will be I thought that time that I will be needing this launch template in future videos, so I created it in the first place. So I will select that launch template, and if you don't know the launch template, please view my video number 3 of this series, and then you will understand it. So the launch template is basically when I give it, then the auto scaling group asks me a question here: which version of the launch template I want to uh, use here. So the default is 1, but I will not be using the default. I will be using the latest one, and you will understand why in the forthcoming uh, video, or maybe in this video, when I create different versions of the same launch template. But for now, let's select latest and then click on next. Now it asks me more questions. It says which VPC should I use. I select the default one, and it asks me which availability zones I want to deploy the EC2s if there are more EC2s needed to be launched. So I say all of the zones that are available in the region Ireland, right? Then I click next. Now it asks me, do you have a load balancer? I say yes, I have, and I will attach that load balancer. If you don't have one, you can create one here. But I already have a load balancer, so that's why I am attached to an existing load balancer. And it now asks me which type of load balancer do you want. So I am choose from your load balancer target groups, right? So I am choosing this option, not this one. This is the classic load balancers, and it will be discontinued very soon. So when I click on the drop down, it already detects that the target group that I am using, and this one to existing load balancer. Okay, and now it asks me VPC list integration, um, health checks. Okay, so for time being, I'm not turning on this option, and I will tell you why in later in this video. For time being, let's check if we have given all the options attached to an existing load balancer. Choose from your load balancer target groups. I'm selecting the target group, and you need to double check every option because it sometimes confuses new users. Okay, and this health check grace period is 300 seconds. This means that wait until how much to consider an EC2 as non-healthy, right? So the target group will, when checking the health, will wait for 300 seconds for the EC2 to launch properly, because this is how much time is needed, or maybe this is too much of a time, but we will 300 seconds in 300 seconds most of the EC2s launch correctly. Okay, and I will check this one, enable group metrics collection with CloudWatch. I'm not using CloudWatch, but I'm still checking this, see if we could use CloudWatch in further videos, right? So next. Now it asks me, remember, this is super confusing for new users, and I have been here so many times and tested so many things, and then I realized, okay, this is how it works. The desired capacity is the one that how much instances you want to create. The minimum is that how much you want to keep the minimum, and the maximum is that how much instances do you want to create the maximum. Beyond maximum, there will be no instances created. So I will do it like 3, and then the desired and minimum I will keep 1, right? So I need 1, and the minimum should be 1. The desired capacity should not be less than the minimum, right? The minimum could be less than desired, but the desired should not be and will not be less than the minimum desired capacity, right? And now it asks me target tracking scaling policy. If you don't select this one, then this means that nothing should be tracked for the healthy check to be performed, right? So I will check target tracking policy, right? And I will give it a name, for example, AWS Devops project CPU usage, and I will name it percentage. So, so I will name this, and then I will select average CPU utilization. That means that if my CPU percentage increases beyond 50%, then you should create another instance, right? And then I will come and I will select, let's go with mixed behavior. And the mixed behavior is like this. So before a healthy check is not available, that means that the instance has gone down or the CPU usage has been increased beyond 50%. Then what happens is that the auto scaling group will launch another EC2 and before terminating the previous one, the unhealthy one, it will create another a new one and then kill the unhealthy one. So this is the mixed behavior, right? I will move forward next and add notifications. So this is called SNS, and it's called short notification system, right? And it enable the user to be notified when a launch has happened. So let's see, if we click next, then we again click next. No, wait. Oi. Oh my god, okay. We we have resetted everything. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, let's do everything from scratch. AWS Devops project ASG, and the launch template will be this, and then latest, next, availability zones, all of them, and next, attach existing load balancers, select a target group from this one, and then come down, check this one, next, desired capacity 1, minimum 1, and maximum 3. No scaling policy, no, we want a scaling policy. Target tracking, AWS DevOps project, and CPU usage percentage, CPU usage utilization beyond 50%, and then no policy, mixed behavior, next, and we will click here add notification, and we will create a topic, send notification to, for example, this is my email address, and no, this is the email, and I will name it AWS DevOps project notification. I will just name it, right? And it will notify about it will notify me about launch terminations, fails, and termination failures, right? Let's go next. And okay, so before clicking next, that means that the auto scaling group will be created. It will see the current EC2 instances. So let's go and see how many instances we already have. This is the load balancers, this is the target group, and this is the launch templates. Let's go to the EC2 instances. We currently have one, right? But this is the one that we created manually, right? And we want now that this EC2 should be created with all the things in it through auto scaling group. So once I click this next the last time, and it gives me a review of everything I created in the auto scaling group, and I say create auto scaling group, it will check the EC2 instances. How many are there? This one that we created the first time, and this is this has an AMI already. This one will not be included in the current auto scaling group, meaning that we said minimum 1 and the desired 1, right? This one does not mean that this is already 1. No, this is not 1. It will create one more, right? Based on this auto scaling group policy that we created. Okay, so don't get confused. When I click here, create auto scaling group, now currently it says instance is 0, but we have one here. So that means that what I said earlier is true. The auto scaling groups create one now, which we told it already, that create one and the minimum should be 1, but the current one that we already created does not count in that. Okay, so it's saying updating capacity, and if you go now EC2 go to EC2 instances and refresh it, there will one be creating now. Okay, running. That means that one has been created here, and it's currently status check initialize thing, and if we refresh it, nothing will happen now, but let's wait for it. And now if you go to the target groups, there will still be that one that we previously added, but this one was manual, right? Let's go refresh it. Now one is more here, which is health status is now initial, and target registration is in progress, this one. So wait for it until this is completely healthy, and this is the waiting time that I mentioned, the 300. Do you remember? Which I told you that this is the time that the target group will wait until considering this new instance unhealthy. Now it says healthy, and see if we could see in the instances if it's still initializing, and we should wait in the target group, in the instances, to be properly running. And I will prove it to you that the traffic is passing here as well by disabling the one that we created before. But let's wait for that. So now if you see, we have the status check as checks passed for the new instance, right? And this instance is already been added to the target group. So that means that our auto scaling group is working properly. So if we go to the auto scaling group, now it will say instances 1, which in reality are 2 now, but that previous one that we created is not counted here, right? This is not the one that is created by the auto scaling group. This is the one that we created, right? So that means that auto scaling group is working. And if you go to the target groups, for example this one, right, this is the target group, and this is we are seeing that 2 instances, one is created by auto scaling group and one is created by us. Let's deregister the one that we created, this one, right? Let's deregister it. Target deregistration is in progress. That means that we are removing the EC2 that we created from this target group. Let's wait for it. This takes a bit of time, but we should wait for it, and we should refresh this again and again to see if this target that we first registered gets away, but it will take time. Still, this will be removed very shortly, but that means that the traffic is not forwarded to this instance anymore. The traffic will be only forwarded to the healthy instance, and we should verify this by going to the load balancer, copying this URL, and then checking if the traffic is passed correctly. If we go, the instance is having still the same app, but this time the traffic is going to the target group, and then the target group is forwarding this traffic on port 8008 to the healthy instance. And we can verify this once this is removed. That means that the traffic previously which forwarded to our instance, the one that we created, has been removed from target group, which now means the traffic is forwarded to the healthy instance only. And this healthy instance has been registered by the auto scaling group, which we created, and it created an instance based on the launch template, and then that instance is added to the target group, and the target group is working correctly, and the traffic is forwarded to the healthy instance only. So that winds up our auto scaling group process. How do we create it? How does the instance then get registered with the target group, and how the traffic flows from the load balancer, which we verified here by copying this link from the load balancer and then browsing it here, right? So we can also increase the desired and the minimum instance, and then it will create another instance here. We can also remove completely this instance, the one that is here, which we created. And let's do that. For example, if I create one more, if I edit this auto scaling group, come to actions, edit, and then create the desired as 2 and the minimum as 2, right? And now come down completely here and update it. Now the current instances are 1, right? The desired are 2, minimum are 2. So now it's saying again the updating capacity. If we refresh it, it's saying updating capacity. Now come to the instances. This is the one that we created, and this is the one that the previous auto scaling group, when it was desired 1, created. Now if I refresh it, it will create another one. That means we now require 2 instances, right? And the second one is now pending. Let's see if it launches, and then we will come to the target groups and see that the second instance is also being registered to the target group. Let's wait for it. Now if you refresh it, see, it's now running. And now let's go to the target group and now refresh this. It's still not added to the target group, but let's wait. It will now be registered to the target group. Refresh it. Here is it. The previous one that I told you it will go away in a second has now been removed from the target group, and these 2 instances that we created through auto scaling group are now being registered here. You can verify the instances ID. One is 772, one is A73, and you can come to the instances, refresh it, 772 and A73. This one has been completely removed because we manually removed it from the from the target group. Now let's test one more thing. We should remove this instance because this was the one that we created, right? And we should come and terminate the instance. Terminate, right? This one is now being terminated. Okay, and now once these 2 that are created in the auto scaling, we should do something with this instance that it is removed from the target group by sensing the healthy status. Okay, so we should wait until both of them are up. One is up, but the second one is not up yet. We should do something with this instance, this one or this one, that they are not healthy anymore, right? So then what will happen is that the target group will check the healthy status, and the healthy status is checked by according to this scheme, the health check, and you can click it and then you can come to the edit. So currently the health check is performed by sensing the 8008 port, and the health threshold is that it will check 5 times, right? Uh, This means that the health check, when performed 5 times and it is okay, the traffic is passing, then it's considered healthy, right? But if the traffic is passed on 8008 to the EC2 and it comes unhealthy 2 times, then that instance is removed, right? And the amount of time in seconds during which no response means a failed is 5 seconds. It will check once, then it will check second time after 5 seconds, and if both of the time it is unhealthy, then it will remove that instance from the target group. And the interval, the approximate amount of time between health checks of an individual target, right? Uh, so this is the time between health checks, meaning the health checks healthy or the health checks unhealthy. Don't confuse it with the only healthy or the only non-healthy, right? This is the time interval between the healthy and non-healthy. So if it's healthy, then it should wait for 30 seconds. If it's non-healthy, it should wait for 30 seconds and then perform another check. So this is a bit confusing, but you will get it once you do it your own way, and you know, you try and fail a few times, then you will understand. Okay, so this is the target group that we are on. There are two targets, they're both healthy. Let's wait for this one to complete. Check passed. Now both are check passed. That means that two instances are running and both of them are healthy. Let's make one unhealthy by just simply doing terminate instance. And which one is it? Let's see, 772. Let's terminate this one. Terminate is shutting down. Now see, this is shutting down, this one is up, right? But let's see in target groups, they are both healthy. Let's refresh it. Now it will, the 7721 will turn unhealthy. Let's refresh it, refresh it, refresh it. Okay, see how, what I told you. Now because this instance that we terminated is shutting down, that means the traffic is not accepted here anymore, and that means the target group has sensed it. It says unhealthy, request timeout, meaning that the traffic was going here, but it didn't accept it traffic, so it's unhealthy now. So if we refresh it, it will be completely removed from the target group. That means that that the target group has now sent a signal to the auto scaling group that I have removed one instance and please check your configuration. But now the auto scaling group has desired 2, it will again match it with the current instance, which is 1. It will it will run another instance. So for example here it says 3, but it will now change it. So see, uh, just drop down, it is 1 in this one, and let's see, refresh, 1 is another running, right? But the auto scaling says 3, it will now change it to 2. Just wait for it, because it is counting the terminated one as well, and it will update a little later on. So the one we terminated has been terminated now, and auto scaling group has sensed it, because the target group has sent a signal that okay, one of the EC2 instance was unhealthy, which we killed deliberately to check the unhealthy status, and it was removed from here. And then wait for it, it still says unhealthy. Wait for it, it will turn to healthy very soon, because it's currently initializing. Once the status is up, then it will change to the healthy status, because currently the 8008 port is not open or is not taking traffic, so that's why it's unhealthy. It will change to healthy very soon. But this is the way we need to check it, by refreshing it. Let's see, if we open it and we refresh it, it's still initializing. Now you can see that the new instance that was unhealthy has been healthy now, which was not healthy is healthy now, and that is because the instance has checks passed, and this is a new instance that is created through auto scaling group. That means that our auto scaling group and all the process went very good, very well, and it's still showing the instances 3, which will be updated a little later on, because it's considering the terminated instance as well, which will be removed completely from here. This one, the 7721, which we failed deliberately and the one that we created in the first during the course. So these two will be when they are removed from here, then it will be automatically updated here as well. Then it will be showing only two. Yeah, okay. See, this is only two now. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to say. This is now two because there are only two healthy instances, and both of them are created by the auto scaling group. So that's perfect. And the target group has also two instances working perfectly. Now we can do one thing that can show that the traffic is splitted between both of them. We now don't have any way to see how is the traffic splitted because the app is the same, the code is the same on both of the servers, both of the EC2 instances. But we could do something like get the EC2 ID and print it here, and then we can see which EC2 uh, instance is now getting the traffic by refreshing it. But that's something very easy. You can do it yourself. Just get your current IP from the code in the JavaScript, and it will give you the current IP here and print it. Then you will see that the traffic is not always going to the same EC2. It is being split by the load balancer here, right? So the load balancer then pass the traffic to target group. The target group pass the traffic to the EC2, and it checks the port 8008 for health checks, which we did here. See, if we click edit and we check the health check port, then we will see override 8000. This means that we are checking this port for traffic healthiness. Okay. So this video was a bit longer one, but the process is a bit complicated, and that's why we need to wait and check and see everything works perfectly and okay, and that's why the video is a bit longer. But hopefully you will have now a clear idea of what we did. So let's copy this, copy and paste it, and bring it to the auto scaling group. So the traffic comes directly. Just skip this part. The traffic comes on the ALB, application load balancer, then the listener, then it passed to the target group, and the target group has registered two instances now, right? Which we which we mentioned in the auto scaling group, and the auto scaling group sends everything from the target group. When a target group when a target is not healthy, the target group remove that unhealthy target and uh, and then triggers the auto scaling group that there is an unhealthy target I have removed, and you should check your configuration. And when the auto scaling group checks the configuration that, oh, I need to have two instances minimum, then it creates another one and then registered it to the target group again, and that's how the traffic is then left to the healthy one as well. Until then, when that target registration occurs and that target or that EC2 instance spin up completely and is healthy, the traffic goes to only that one instance. So for example, if we have an auto scaling group of minimum 4 instances and desired 4, then there will be 4 instances, right? And the one that is removed, the traffic will not be passed there, only to the 3 instances. And then when that target is again registered by the auto scaling group, then the traffic will be left to the 4th one as well. So we have done a lot of things here. A lot of things are now green ticked, and we will move forward to further stages by passing by working on the GitHub code pipeline and the code deploy parts, by making some changes to our code and then pushing it uh, uh, to the EC2 instances that we are currently having in the target groups or the auto scaling group, and it will be pushed not to only one but to all the instances currently in the target groups. So if we make changes in the code, then it should not be like uh, and not be like that it's pushed to only one instance, but it will be pushed to both the instances. So for example, if there are 10 instances, then the code will be pushed to each one of them simultaneously, not simultaneously but one after the other, and there is a setting for that in the code deploy and code pipeline, which we will discuss further. We can do it simultaneously as well, but we don't do that. We deploy code to one by one by blocking the traffic to the one that we want to deploy the code to, and then when that is complete, then we spin up, then we leave traffic to that instance, and then block to another one, and then block to another one, and similarly all 10 will get the code. But this is a discussion for future videos. For time being, let's practice this, and I think that's it for this video. It's a bit longer video, but I hope you understand. I will see you in the part 5th of this web series for code deploy and code pipelines. Thank you and bye bye.